Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, you and I, we were having a little meeting before this podcast started. And I pulled out an old notebook of mine. As you know, I've never thrown away a notebook. Never in my life. In fact, my AP chemistry notes are still sitting in my parents' basement, and my mom is kind of on my case about it, I would say.
Just in case you ever need to go back to them?
I think it's less that I want to go back to them and more that it's a physical manifestation of the suffering I went through. Maybe it would be healthy for me to throw them away.
Right. Cleanse yourself a little bit.
I should have more cleansings of the manifestations of my suffering.
Probably.
In any case, here's my notebook from 2022 for another thing that we were talking about. Right here in my hands. And I just got to say, out of context, the notes for this show are actually kind of a cry for help.
I mean, to be clear, in context, the notes and content of the show are already a cry for help.
But at least kind of
it's a little coherent.
Yes. Tipping pitch is 9:18. Well, first of all, the first episode that I have notes for in here, tipping pitch is 9:11. Cold open. There apparently was none. At least I didn't take notes about it. Maybe a moment of silence for 9/11. Tipping pitch is 9:18, 2022. Cold open. Are we cooked?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it says. There's nothing else. Tipping pitch is 9:26. Cold open. Jeter house being demolished.
I think we got some good mileage out of that one.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
Tipping pitches 10-2. Cold open. My dream that I was on the Mets. I hit 2 home runs
People
in
love
Yankee
hearing
Stadium.
about your dreams.
Terrence Gore went back to back with one of them.
Terrence Gore.
I had a really shitty bat bag that I had to pack myself.
Uh-huh.
This is just a dream diary.
It is a dream diary.
Below this, it says, quote, "Sell me this pen 2022 playoffs edition."
You were nothing if not committed. I'll tell you that much.
Tipping pitches 10-10.
Mm-hmm.
Bit
Keep it
about
going.
flying to LA to see my lifelong favorite team. Was that the Dodgers? I don't remember. You'll have to go back and listen
bit,
for
though.
yourself,
It sounds like a good
listener.
bit.
Oh, here we go. Tipping pitches live show Rowan University. 10/24.
Nice. Kind of a live show. Not really, but
Sort of. Yeah, we talked to a class.
class.
Yeah. And they recorded it. It's a live show of sorts. My handwriting is a lot neater here because I thought maybe I might actually have to be able to read it in front of this class. Tipping pitches 10/24. Cold open. Setting the scene. LOL. This all meant something to me at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? For that reason, this notebook's sticking around.
Just like the AP chemistry.
I can't throw that out.
No, that's a part of you. That's like one of your Horcruxes, man.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog. It's Harry Potter night here as well, apparently.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Always is.
Including every other
Always has been.
ballpark across America is always doing Harry Potter night. I guess. What's up, man? What are we podcasting about today? What's on this episode? Our conversation with Tom?
Conversation with Tom Hackimer. Yeah,
okay.
the final piece of
The final Horcrux.
the final Horcrux. We're completing our staff cast cycle. It's a little long overdue.
Damn, did I leave my drink out there?
Oh, dude, you're liquid death?
Can't check.
What?
Can't check.
You like to clown me for getting a bottle of water while I'm out and about, but you drink canned water in your own home.
It's canned flavored water, though.
Oh.
Also, you always buy plastic bottles.
That's-
Liquid Death is famously anti-plastic. That's why they exist. You will not shame me out of drinking Liquid Death. Trust me.
I know I won't.
No, completing the cycle is a good way of saying it. I like that.
Yeah.
Having Tom on the podcast. Rich has
that
been on
was
the
a
pod.
baseball pun, actually. I didn't realize that.
You didn't realize that.
Nope.
Your mind. Your mind?
That's why we keep you around. To explain the jokes that I've made to me.
Tom's wonderful. If you're a listener of Staffcast, you know that those guys have a unique and dry and lovely sense of humor, and we always love to blend it into the broad insanity of this show. Tom joined us to talk about something that we've been wanting to talk about on the podcast for quite a while now, but we just hadn't got around to it, which is dedicating, some or most of an episode to talking about the evolving relationship between fans and players, and how over the last 5, 10, 15, 25 years since the internet has warped the behavior of people in real life, that relationship has changed quite a bit. And Tom, having played at many different levels of professional and organized baseball, has a quite unique perspective on this, and also as someone who is, like, charitably speaking, native to the internet, we'll say. Tom is. And so I'm really happy about that conversation, but as is typical Tipping Pitches fashion, some really important news has happened over the last 7 days since we put a podcast out. 2 things. Not the All-Star break.
The what?
Not the home run derby.
Pat McAfee? Joining us now, folks.
Not Pat McAfee thanking our friend Jen Ramos Eisen for their question 7 times. That's not what I'm referring to. No, I'm referring to, honestly, 2 of the biggest things that can happen in our world. And that is a team announcing a new jersey patch. We're now making 3 straight weeks of that. The streak is still going. Call me Joe D. 3 straight weeks, new jersey patches.
We're looking at you, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, the Rays also sold. The team, I guess technically the sale has not gone through yet, though it has been reported that it is very likely to conclude by the end of the season. So we have to talk about these things.
Unfortunately, we do. That is that's our lot in life. Is talking jersey patches and team sales. No, I'm not. I'm kidding. I'm stoked for this. I always am. There's like 5 teams on the market right now. It's unreal.
What are the other teams? Nats. How have they not sold yet?
I don't know. They were like, actually, we trust ourselves.
I can get behind that.
Twins.
White
Sox.
Well, we know the plan for that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying in terms of teams that are being in the process of being sold.
A's.
I mean,
do you remember when the Angels were for sale and then Artie Moreno was like, nah.
Never mind. I can juice a little more out of the land around here.
Right.
New mayor means
another person to be bribed.
New person to be bribed. Yeah.
Exactly. Another palm to be greased.
More corruption to do.
Allegedly. What are the other teams?
I think that's it, right?
Okay. So 3.
Well, what?
4 including the Rays.
Right. Rays, Twins, White Sox, Nationals.
Oh, that is 5.
A's if you're counting them, although they are not for sale.
Extremely not for sale.
Extremely not for sale.
Yeah. No. They're going to get those crazy kids are going to get it figured out over there. But we're not here to talk about the Rays.
Well,
we're not here to, God damn it. We're not here to talk about the A's. We're here to talk about the Rays. It's like the 2018 wild card game up in here. We're going to talk about the Rays over the A's. Get it?
Just start the show. Do the intro.
I thought we were going to do this all before the cold open, but I guess we're going to do. My name is Robbie Wagner.
I'm Alex Paisley.
And this is Tipping Pitches. Thanks to this week's new patrons. I'm really sorry I didn't. We're recording this ahead of time, so I don't have your names. I apologize. What do you want to talk about first? Jerseys or the Rays?
Let's get it out of the way. Let's talk the Twins. Their new jersey patch with Securian Financial Group.
How confident do you feel about how that's pronounced?
Pretty confident. I don't know what the alternative pronunciations.
Securion?
Securion.
You always get me when you do accents. Because You'll just try one that like you definitely don't have in the bag. Like French is not.
No.
You've never spoken a word of French in your life.
No, well, a few words, but when I got a C in that class, I decided to take Italian instead. So,
Oh, French is the thing that drove you to Italian.
Yeah.
I thought it was Spanish.
no, I felt confident enough in my Spanish.
So you're just bouncing around. This is the way that we're different. So like you'll cut bait with something.
Yeah.
Me, if I've put any effort into it, time to see
like,
it
I'm
through.
in. I'm
You know,
in.
time to- like this is talk
Sunk
about
cost
sunk
fallacy.
cost fallacy. I'm the main proponent of sunk cost fallacy. Like, I took 3 hours of Spanish in 8th grade, and so that means I have to take Spanish for the rest of my life. Securion. Okay, Securion.
Securian.
Securion. Securion.
They're an American financial service group.
Yep.
Provides a range of financial-
likely thing for them to be.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just say, the first thing on their Wikipedia page
Mhm.
is not an overview of what they do.
No.
It is a disclaimer that says this article may have been created or edited in return for undisclosed payments. A violation of Wikipedia's terms of use. It may require cleanup to comply with Wikipedia's content policies. So I just want the listeners to know what we're pulling from. Is Securion propaganda?
No, I'm reading straight from Securion's website, which is
Well,
definitely
I think-
unbiased.
I think it's the same thing. This is what it sounds like.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
The main shelf. Okay. Here are the top 2 shelves, as we say in web design,
Mhm.
of Securion's website, Securion.com. The first is just like saying what it is: insurance and retirement solutions. You could click through and explore more. The next seems to be kind of what they want to like signal about the vibe of their company. And I'm going to read you the phrase, the header. Wrap yourself in the feelings of confidence.
Jesus.
Like, come on, guys. Like we could have punched that one up a little bit. Wrap yourself in the feeling of confidence. Wrap yourself in the feeling of humor here on the Tipping Pitches podcast.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does Securion do?
You're on their website. I don't know. They're like a mutual fund. What does that mean?
But they're also like an insurance
Right.
company.
They provide like insurance and investment, retirement products. I think those are their main 2 planks.
I also think that it's important
Annuities.
to what is an annuity? And I think it's also important to mention that they're kind of like Securion as it exists is like a holding company for several sub companies underneath it, several of which are different, like
I love a
basically
holding company.
insurance
Yeah.
companies, insurance and or financial services companies. So, yeah, they have like almost 100 billion under management, assets under management, AUM, your favorite. How much, what's our AUM? Assets under management, like $98.
Let me see what's in my wallet right now.
You carry a lot of cash?
Like $10 at a time, just in case. My break in case of emergency cash.
What emergency is going to be helped by $10? You can't get your hair cut with that. I suppose you could tip for something. with-
Yeah, it's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
Or if
I only
or if
carry
I'm-
cash to
Or
tip.
if I'm at like I'm a bodega. Or if I'm at a bodega.
I'm a bodega.
If I'm a bodega. If I'm at a bodega that has like a
Oh,
card
okay.
minimum or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
I'll just pay in cash.
Yeah.
It's fine.
$10 break in case of emergency.
Exactly. See, you see the vision.
Can you believe that there are people out there who are just like, I carry $1,000 of cash on me at all times?
No, I
That's
don't.
gnarly.
But if that is the case, tell me where you are.
Right now.
Really? You got $1,000 on you? Where you at?
I've always wanted to be a money clip guy instead of a wallet guy, but I don't carry money.
Right.
So it'd just be a clip.
Clip.
I'm just a clip
Put
guy.
all your cards in there.
Right, exactly. That feels like an easy way to lose them,
Yeah.
which would be freeing in a way.
Let me I just want to read this corporate organization paragraph to you, okay?
Okay, please do.
Minnesota Mutual Companies Inc. is the parent holding company headquartered in St. Paul, Minnesota, with a mutual ownership model that operates under the name Securion Financial.
DBA.
As the parent group of Securion Financial Group Inc., which is technically a stock subsidiary, but is not publicly owned or traded, as well as several other companies that provide a broad range of financial services, including 12 different companies.
This sounds like I'm signing terms of service,
Yes.
which who knows? Maybe I am. just by being on this page.
Okay, so they're broad
Areas of business.
largely centered around insurance and investments.
And to be clear,
Many
I
such
don't
cases.
think it's not health insurance. So I think that's a point it's an important point of order as we try to place them on this list, because there are several health insurance companies on here who we have dinged quite aggressively for being in the health insurance game in America.
Yeah.
They do life insurance, which, podcaster phrase of the year, your mileage may vary on whether or not life insurance is a good thing or whether or not a profiteer of the life insurance policy is a good thing.
Yeah, they do property insurance,
Sure.
casualty insurance,
That's right. They have like 6 life insurance companies.
auto, home.
Do they do auto?
According to insuranceproviders.com.
They do something called, casualty insurance is often auto insurance. They have a company called Allied Solutions. What does that mean?
It sounds like a CIA front, like in the 1970s, Like Allied Solutions is the military subcontractor that got Saddam Hussein kicked out of power. Anyway.
Did you see the video of Claire Danes on Stephen Colbert's pod starting to talk about how journalists have increasingly cozied up to the intelligence apparatus, and he like immediately interrupts her and changes the direction of the conversation?
That's kind of old, right?
Yeah. But
Baller.
people were passing it around as Colbert's show got canceled, and the whole Democratic Party was more up in arms about that than they were in favor of Zoran Mondani, their candidate who actually won the primary.
Yeah, or like the genocide happening right now.
Well, that's different. That's a given. Back to Securion. I don't know where to place them.
I don't know where to. We have this whole as listeners of
just read the top 10.
Let's read the top 10
because I do think they probably will crack the top. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe. Our top 10, right? These are the top 10 most evil
companies
that are sponsoring a jersey patch.
Correct.
At number 1 we have Oxy.
Oh, you're going 1 to 10.
Well, okay, we can do 10
to 1. Spoiler alert.
10 to 1. New York Yankees with Star Insurance.
Oh shit.
At number 9, the Braves and Quick Crete. At number 8, the Cincinnati Reds and Kroger. Number 7, Philadelphia Phillies and Independence Blue Cross,
aka IBX.
IBX baby. 6, Los Angeles Dodgers and Guggenheim. Likely thing for them to do. St. Louis Cardinals.
You said the exact same phrase last time we talked about Guggenheim.
I don't remember anything we've ever done on this podcast ever, as this cold open is testament to.
You don't remember when we ranked the jersey patches?
I don't remember the jokes I made.
I'm talking about last week you said that phrase.
Oh, that's a tough look.
Yeah.
Number 5, St. Louis Cardinals and Stifle?
We've recently received word from a listener that it's pronounced Stiefel.
Stiefel.
I don't care.
Stiefel?
I'm still...
Zivo.
I'm going to pronounce it neither way. Stiffel.
Stifel. Number 4, a new entry.
Yes.
Onto this list that we ranked just last week.
That's right.
The Colorado Rockies and New York Space Systems.
Now this cracks me up.
Yeah.
This cracks me up.
It's such a good one.
An aeronautical military contractor.
Yep. Space defense contracting is a service.
Oh, yeah.
Can't make it up.
Rockets as a service.
Number 3, Cleveland Guardians and Marathon. This is the fossil fuel.
Yeah. We're
corner.
into the petroleum zone.
Yeah. I love the petroleum zone. Number 2, Texas Rangers, an energy transfer and taking home the crown. Has yet to even be challenged.
Not even remotely
close.
No.
That is Oxy on behalf of the Houston Astros.
It would be really funny if the only company that could become more evil than them is like the Astros contract with Oxy expires and they pick a more evil company.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so now that you've read the top 10, I actually don't think they crack the top 10. So
I
can
don't
you go
think they
backwards now?
Yeah.
What's number 11?
Okay. Well, I'm going to get 10 to 1 and then 11 to 20.
What's 11?
11 is Chevrolet.
Okay, now we're talking.
And then can I just read the next few? Because we get into now
the
we're
mutual
in the
fund
financial
zone.
services, right?
Yeah.
Then we have just the ones we didn't know where to place.
Finance
right?
as a service.
Right. Which is T. Rowe Price for the Orioles, Northwestern Mutual
What
for the
they do.
Brewers. I'm going to power through. I don't even know what you're saying. And Mass Mutual for the Boston Red Sox.
All right, so they should just be in there. Sure.
I kind of think so, right?
Mass Mutual, T. Rowe Price. They're giving a little more evil than the others. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think.
Okay. So like you think maybe in at 11 or 12? Sorry, 12?
Well, you won't let them go above Chevy.
No.
I know you won't. And I'm willing to concede that because of how generous you've been over the years about your mea culpa on Kroger.
Right. Okay.
So I'm willing to say we lock Chevy in at 11. It's also my favorite number, and it's my favorite company on the list.
Right.
Okay. So what was 12 again? T. Rowe Price?
Yeah.
Okay. T. Rowe Price. Mass Mutual was 13?
Northwestern Mutual.
Okay. It's just directionally, I don't know whether or not. Let's put them between Northwestern and Mass.
I think that's good. Any particular reason why?
Nope.
This is what you get, right? This is what you get for having a company just does like vaguely immoral things that are really hard to explain. You get put right in the middle of the list.
I've Googled, is Securian more evil than T. Rowe Price?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Google AI overview says. It is not appropriate to label either Securian Financial or T. Rowe Price as evil. Both are large, established financial institutions with different focuses and practices. While Securian is known for its insurance and retirement products, T. Rowe Price is primarily an investment management firm. Both companies have faced scrutiny and criticism regarding certain practices, but neither is inherently more or less evil. I got news for you. Google.
The Securian also has employer-owned life insurance.
I don't know what that means.
Apparently, it's sometimes referred to as dead peasant insurance, and it means that when the employee dies on the job, the employer gets the life insurance from them.
Okay. All right. Maybe they're above Northwestern.
I feel like they might be, honestly. So what about in relation to T. Rowe Price?
It's hard though, because they actually do different things slightly. Because T. Rowe Price is like just financial investment.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are like mutual funds, investment, stockbroker, all that stuff that we clearly understand very well. And Securian,
Yep.
They do like life insurance.
Yeah.
And T. Rowe Price doesn't do that. So this is sort of what I was talking about, where it's like,
it's apples and oranges.
Is life insurance important? Yes. Are the companies who provide it good?
Yeah.
No. So how do you debate that? We've been criticized a little bit, I think sometimes fairly in the past, for like being too lenient on New York Presbyterian Hospital because they are like an evil employer offering an essential service. I don't know how we're supposed to delineate between that. Did I anticipate it becoming so marginal when we started this exercise? No, it was just for the content.
We didn't think they would all pick mid-sized financial service companies. Although, frankly, we probably should have.
Yeah, we should have.
And that's on us. Okay, so 13.
I'm willing.
Then?
No. Well, I'm willing to say they're more evil than T. Rowe Price.
Okay, so number 12.
Yeah,
right between
Chevrolet,
the
best company on this list,
at 11, and T. Rowe Price at 12.
Their name freaks me out too.
What, Securian?
Yeah. It seems sort of like a evil black market military contractor.
Yeah.
Which maybe they are.
We don't know.
That's
the thing about those black market military contractors is you usually don't know much about them.
I don't understand the Wikipedia disclaimer. That threw me off.
I know.
May have been created or edited in return for undisclosed payments? How would you know?
This was also noted for 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
All right, let's move on to the Rays.
Great.
Congratulations to Securian. and the Minnesota Twins.
I hope they get their ROI.
Okay. Rays $1.7 billion sale could reportedly be done by September. This is according to a report in The Athletic, penned by Evan Drellick and Ken Rosenthal. Not with a bang, but with a whimper, Alex. I mean, we've been years to figure out what was going to happen with the fate of the Rays in a couple ways. Was Sternberg going to stay, the owner of the team? Was he going to sell the team? A subplot of that was, is the team going to stay in St. Petersburg? Is the team going to try to build a downtown ballpark in Tampa? Is the team going to split its time between Montreal? You want to put a little French sauce on that one?
I don't know that I do. Montreal.
Yes. And
every French person speaks in a sort of low, guttural,
right,
smoky voice.
They all speak like the critic from Ratatouille.
Exactly. Sorry to our French listeners.
I'm sure there's just boatloads of them. Or were they going to split their time between Canada and Florida? A totally reasonable thing that they definitely were totally going to do and totally had a plan for.
Yeah.
It's just been kind of a journey. And it now ends with Sternberg selling the team, which seemed like it had more and more momentum over the last few years. I think there's a lot of different points along the way that have helped make the decision for him, like the fact that he doesn't want to be really involved in figuring out this new ballpark as it's become such a headache, particularly since the Trop is undergoing restoration after it was damaged in a hurricane. So the team is not sold yet. It's been agreed to and may be finalized by September for Sternberg to sell the team to a group led by Jacksonville, Florida developer Patrick Zalupski for $1.7 billion. They're in exclusive negotiations. The Athletic also reports Zalupski is expected to keep the team in the Tampa Bay area with a strong preference to be in Tampa rather than St. Pete, the source said. What jumps out to you first? The guy buying them, the price, staying in Tampa. There's a lot of different ways we can go with this.
Frankly, the first thing that jumped out to me was the price.
Okay.
$1.7 billion. Forbes pegged the Rays valuation back in the spring at $1.25 billion. Ultimately, they netted what the Orioles netted in their sale, which is, if you want to believe the way that the argument is made, a team that's in a larger market with a more dedicated fan base. That is just interesting to me to have that sort of premium on the price tag. It does suggest, and again, we're beating a dead horse talking about this here on Tipping Pitches, but like it does suggest that the day-to-day operations of the team, its success and failures, are not always what dictate the valuation, right? That there actually is real investment opportunity here beyond simply running a baseball team and hoping you turn a profit. Especially for a team that's had this kind of back and forth, will they, won't they stay? Notably, Tropicana was...
delicious juices. When are they going to get a jersey sponsor?
That's a good question.
Ocean Spray?
Not as much of an Ocean Spray guy.
That's not very woke of you.
Why?
Ocean Spray is a co-op.
Oh,
a farmer co-op.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Look at you. You love your corporate juice.
I do.
You little freak.
I'm just not a juice guy. I got no juice.
You aren't a juice guy. You don't drink juice. You don't drink tea.
Correct.
You don't really drink water.
I drink iced tea. No, I drink plenty of water.
No, you don't drink water.
All right, bro. That's because I spill it all over me on the bus on the way to record with you.
You do intermittent fasting for water.
That is actually accurate. But yeah, I mean, I think it can't be entirely disconnected from the fact. What do you say his name is? Zalupski.
Zalupski. He's 44.
Yeah,
young buck.
Young buck.
He owns a company called Dream Finders Homes.
Yeah,
probably a lot of good stuff going on there.
Yeah, I mean,
he started. Wait, I'm really sorry.
No, what?
Guess what year he started the company? Just guess a year. It's a building homes company.
2009.
8.
Interesting. Fascinating.
Focuses on first-time home buyers and move-up buyers.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just felt that it was really important for our listeners to know that.
No, that is really important. Yeah, it's like first-time home buyers. There's like an element of personalization there. I think like pick the floor plan, pick the wallpapers, and like we'll handle the nuts and bolts of it for you.
It's like the modern Levittown.
Yeah. In other words, he's a real estate guy.
Yeah.
Those guys tend to do well in this sport, which is increasingly about how you can maximize your real estate.
Yeah.
So that is why I kind of think of, if he is committed, and it sounds like he is, to keeping the team in St. Petersburg, right? You build a new stadium.
No, he wants to put them in Tampa.
Oh, he does want to put them in Tampa.
Yeah. Strong preference for putting them in Tampa.
Interesting.
You trying to get that downtown ballpark vibe?
Well, then, all right. Well, then even better, right? Get that downtown ballpark. Make a little ballpark village.
Uh-huh.
Build
all things you support.
All things I support. Build 30,000 new market rate homes around there. I don't know. Like,
so to your point on the price, I find it fascinating that the price truly is just what you can get someone to pay for it. Because are the Rays as valuable as the Orioles?
If sale prices, take the sale prices, right? Like,
right, exactly. But why? And I guess the answer to that question is there's more potential for the Rays to, again, you're going to have to spend some money to make some money, but to get a ballpark that they actually own and is more preferable financially. Obviously, you'd be lucky to build anything that is as beloved by baseball fans as Oriole Park at Camden Yards. But part of the reason that the Angeloses wanted to get out of the Orioles business was because they were really fumbling the political aspect of trying to negotiate over the lease for their ballpark. And our man Rubenstein was able to come in there and get a new lease signed pretty quickly. But that ballpark is right smack in the middle of a city block, and it's really hard to kind of develop around that. And so there is a higher floor, I would say, to what the Orioles are worth and what you can make on that team. You can be creative with it, but there is definitely a lower ceiling versus a team that operates in Florida, which is a politically friendly state to billionaire real estate developers, that has a path to build a new ballpark that might turn into something like what's happened in Atlanta, or turn into something that's happened in Chicago. We've seen this a million times. Or even San Diego. Like, I'm not trying to leave, I don't know. So the price is interesting. As for what this means for the actual team, Patrick Zalewski's net worth, $1.5 billion. This will probably be some sort of like ownership group.
Yeah, like there's someone from Bill Cosgrove, Union Home Mortgage.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know Bill Cosgrove?
Is that Carly Cosgrove's dad?
Uh-huh. I think there's an owner of a couple minor league teams in the group as well. So yeah, so you're right. It's like a
conglomerate
sort of
consortium. Nice use. His net worth in 2024 was $2.3 billion and went down to 1.5 this past year.
Whoa. Sounds like you should start building more homes.
He's
buddy.
number 2,000.
Time for some abundance.
What does Ezra Klein think of this sale? He's number 2,233 on the Forbes billionaires list.
We didn't even consider him.
We would have had to do a whole year's worth of pods to get to him.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough for him. There's a lot of billionaires out there in the world.
I know. It's pretty crazy. Somebody should do something about that.
I think that this is like a fine outcome, if not fine to good outcome, frankly, because plenty of people could have come in and said, I want to buy the team and move them out of the Tampa area entirely. And that's not what happened. I think that it's a little premature to even start talking about what the direction of the team and the organization will look like, because so much of their identity is tied up in Sternberg's ownership model of spending as little as possible on players and trying to like win on the edges, investing in the front office and capping the payroll of the team every single year and trying to make more than the sum of your parts. And because he doesn't even own the team yet, this is so early in the process. We have no real sense of what his ownership style would be. Build, baby, build, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it seems like at least some of the stadium will be paid for by like tourism taxes, whatever they end up building, right? Maybe a 60-40 split or whatever between that and like him paying out of pocket. I mean, sure. If you're going to build a stadium in a flood zone, like Tampa's a beautiful place to do it. Like absolutely.
Bro, everywhere's a flood zone.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Like City Field's going to be in a flood zone
yeah.
in like 10 years.
It's a good gig for Stu Sternberg, man.
I know. $200 million is what he bought the team for.
Yep. $1.7 billion. No World Series championships in there.
He did make it twice, though.
Hang the banner. Yeah, they're like the small market teams are like the crypto of baseball, you know? I'm kind of like, there's no infrastructure here. There's no insight into what it is that you are doing.
Right.
And somehow you came out of this a billionaire.
Uh-huh.
What happened there?
Right.
How'd that happen? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah. Couldn't tell you.
We'll see.
A subplot of this, and I know we need to get to our conversation with Tom, but a subplot of this that I'm interested in tracking over the next couple years as we head towards the end of the Manfred era.
What?
By the way,
what?
Rob is on some shit right now. We don't even have time to talk about this, but probably like next week or whatever, we should spend some time talking about whether or not Rob is going to try to strong arm the PA into accepting a salary cap using our current political environment. Mm-hmm. Dark. It's interesting that all these people are trying to sell before that. I suppose it's like a natural inflection point where the league might go one of two ways. There's all these different things that are unresolved at the moment. You might as well sell when you know what you can get. Mm-hmm. Whatever. And enjoy your money in our dying society.
Yeah.
Good for Stu.
Good for Stu.
Stu. We love Stu.
Take a little boat ride. You know? Go sail off somewhere. Enjoy it.
Come sail away. All right, let's go to our conversation with our friend Tom Hackimer. Okay, we are delighted to be joined by one third, 1/4, 1/5 of Staffcast. How many hosts do you guys have? And do they actually come on the podcast?
Good question.
Wow, look at that. Professional baseball player just not answering a question. This is a man who's had media training.
Who answers questions these days?
Well, the whole point of being on a podcast is not actually answering the question that you're asked, but instead sharing a thought that you were thinking about the whole time the person was asking the question. You know, just ignoring the thought.
Is that not just how having conversations with people works?
Right.
I'm waiting for you to be done so I can. It's my turn to talk.
Right. I really keep wondering why people walk away in the middle of my sentences, but I won't learn.
Hello, Mr. Hackimer. Hello, Hack. Welcome to Tipping Pitches. This is what an honor to have you on here.
I'm honored to be here. It's pretty fucked up you said that it's an honor to have me.
Well, now we've completed the Staffcast trifecta, quadfecta. Is that what 4 is? Quadfecta?
It's unclear both what having all 4 would be and also, well, in horse racing it would be a superfecta. And that's the only thing that I know where you're really working with 4 variables.
Right.
You betting on the horses these days? I don't know if that's
a scientific term, though.
So I'm not much of a gambler because despite having a background in mathematics, basically, I'm awful at keeping that headspace when there's money involved. So I get completely irrational. I'm horrible gambler, despite the fact that I have the brain rational enough to work out the odds. So I avoid it entirely, except every year for the 3 main horse races, my dad texts me and my siblings and just says, look at the horses that are running. If you want one, I will put $10 on it. So naturally, I just pick a horse. I pick a horse that's 15 to 20 to 1 and has a funny name, and they've never won. I think I picked the horse in the Kentucky Derby this year that came in last.
But when they eventually do win,
it'll pay off.
Boy, is that going to feel good.
Especially because none of this money is mine. It's my dad just being like, yeah, I'll throw $10 on this horse for you if you want.
I think that's how sports gambling usually works, is like someone just keeps floating you forever, right?
Yeah, exactly. I heard people are actually quite upset. There's some changes to that coming.
Did you write that line of the Big Beautiful Bill, or just the rest?
Yeah, that was my contribution. I've been trying to get into law since the baseball thing is kind of, not so much for me anymore.
That and content creation, as I understand, whether it's YouTube, whether it's podcasting. I guess you've always been a content creator, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of it, which is sort of the fun, loose definition of the word content. Is that right? Like me tweeting dumb shit in college technically counts.
That's right.
As content creation. I did actually get into it somewhat seriously, especially when I was rehabbing TJ. Because if there's one thing that rehabbing elbow surgery gives you, it's copious free time that you have no idea what to do with.
Yeah, and a really clear head full of great thoughts to share with the rest of the world, right?
Always. So you need to get those out as often as possible, as publicly as you can.
Okay. I'll remember that for when I eventually need TJ.
It's coming for everyone, much like death.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone will need Tommy John in the future.
There will not be enough cadavers to fund the TJ glut that is coming.
Everyone is going to throw 95 miles an hour, and everyone is going to need Tommy John surgery. This is my platform that I'm running on for MLB commissioner.
Your last few videos, you had one that popped off. That had a quarter of a million views,
which was really funny because I made that video while I was rehabbing TJ. I made it, I posted it, it got copyright claimed.
Nice, as all the best videos do.
But none of it was MLB game footage, because I edited the stuff that got claimed out and put it back up, and every single bit of game footage that I started with is still in there. What got claimed were these videos of Mike Marshall's training methods, which are really wacky and are also on YouTube. You can just look them up. But I use them, and the guy who apparently technically owns them, who is not related to Mike Marshall or his estate, as far as I could tell, it's just a guy who has sued Major League Baseball about 1,000 times.
It's a good business if you can get it.
And to the point that judges are throwing it out, it's this is frivolous. We're not taking this past your I don't know what the legal term is for how you start a court case, but whatever the initial step is, judges are now they see the name and they just throw it out. That guy copyright struck me on it, and I was I got really discouraged and just took it down, and I never thought about it. And then when I started doing it again recently, I was just I could always just cut that stuff out. It's not actually the interesting part of this.
Yeah.
And I put it back up, and it had done really well in the 3 days it had been up earlier, 3 years earlier. And apparently it was still pretty good, and people liked it. I was very happy about that.
Foolish baseball, look out.
Yeah. Very funny because Bailey was our most recent staff guest.
Yeah, I saw that. It's about time someone market corrects Foolish Baseball,
Yeah, it's true. He's had a real dominant run there for too long.
It's we get it. It's funny, witty, irreverent baseball content delivered in a straight tone. We get it, dude. We get it.
Oh my God, you're making up your own stats. You've put a lot of effort into this. Oh, you did pixel artwork for everything. Oh
my God, look at these illustrations. Again, back at it with the fucking illustrations.
Whoa, asking questions that no one else ever thought to ask about this game. Okay.
That's why I'm moving into Bailey's walls.
Right.
Well, I saw our boys Cespedes Family Barbecue were within Bailey's walls at the All-Star break this past week.
I did see that. It was very funny. It was a good, when you know people from different parts of your life, but then they both post that they're at the Mets game or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just this is kind of funny, except obviously those guys all kind of occupy the same sphere. It's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. You would all be in Georgia right now.
To be clear, the Sphere is the fraudulent baseball internet. No, those guys are frauds. All of them are frauds.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, Hack, you are not here to talk about which baseball content creators are frauds, because Alex and I have gotten ourselves in quite a bit of trouble by sharing our opinions on that front.
Oh, we can go into that off the air, and
I think so.
Sounds good. Brent Rooker, fraud alert? I don't know. No, you're here to talk about something else, which is that we thought it would be a good idea to discuss something on the podcast that I feel like has come up in fits and starts, and often comes up on our Patreon when we're doing 3 Up, 3 Down, which is a segment that we do where we're talking about things that are adding joy into the baseball world for us, or things that are taking away joy in the baseball world.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You
It's
should.
all yours.
We will copyright strike you on it.
No,
Just
no,
so you
As I
know.
deserve.
No, I don't think so. Because when we croak, Alex, I want it to be open source. I want everybody to be able to take the great works that we've put out into the world and utilize them however they'd like. That's my dying wish.
All right.
No, we've talked in fits and starts about how the relationship between fans and players has warped quite a bit in the last really like 25 years since the internet became a thing, but it's accelerated a lot in the last 10 years. And we thought it would be interesting to hear your perspective on these things and talk through them, because you've played at quite a few different levels of baseball in front of all different types of crowds. And for the reasons you were just talking about, you are one of us on the baseball internet. And so you see the different factors that have gone into this primordial ooze of the way that fans think about players and think that they have access to players. So much in podcast form, I have not actually asked you a question, but I wanted to, where should we start, guys? Fans are obviously the thing that drives this sport and makes it profitable, but also it's gotten really bad in the last couple of years, and it's been accelerated by a few things that we've spent a lot of time talking about. So I guess the place to start here is, when in your baseball playing career did you start to become aware of the fact that fans could hone in on you as an individual person and try to get an emotional response from you?
Several times in college, we played, right? Like, fans heckling players in person is really where I guess this started, probably. And right, there's general rules as to what's acceptable in that. And college kids are fairly relentless with that type of stuff if you're in the right environment. We played my freshman year at St. John's. We played at Eastern Carolina, which is a very notable school for having a whole group that is outside the left field fence, which is technically not school property. And so everyone back there is hammered, but right up on the fence, screaming at everybody and their mother on the field, but particularly the left fielder, as you can imagine. So early on, I got that part of it out of the way of just being like, oh yeah, people will scream at you. And I think the general rule that I have learned is the lower the level, or just the generally less attended the game is, the worse it is, because you can hear what somebody in particular is saying to you. As opposed to, you get a big, loud, raucous crowd, it's just screaming. You cannot pick out what any one person is saying, as opposed to I'm getting heckled in a high A games. I can hear you. There's 15 people here.
Yeah. Have you ever been tempted to clap back at a fan? The other day, I think Kelsey Plum was being heckled by someone, right? Who was like, "Oh, I need this for my parlay," and she spins around and is like, "Shut the fuck up."
I do think specifically if you say something about your parlay or your bet, players should be allowed to go meta world peace on you. Or I guess the entire is it the Cubs or it was the Dodgers. It was at Wrigley Field in the 1980s, where the whole team went up into the stands and was fighting people.
Right.
One of my former AAA managers was part of that, Chad Kruger. He told me that story pretty much unprompted, but
this is the type of event that if you were involved in it, you would tell it unprompted all the time.
I do have to give him credit. I would also tell that story all the time.
You're telling the story right now, and you weren't even the person in the stands.
And I'll continue to tell people that. My approach to it in those situations was either ignore it as much as I could, or occasionally you can tell when people are like malicious or like they just want attention. I forget where I was. It was somewhere in the Southern League where we were at, wherever we were playing. It was like dollar beer night. So the whole section next to the bullpen was full of just like drunk college kids. And it's like most of these college kids do not have like malicious intent in their heart against this opposing AA team.
Right.
Like they just want to be a little bit of a dickhead and like get attention. So the answer to that one is just like, they're like, you suck. Like you're going to go in there. It's like, yeah. It's like, you're going to throw any strikes. Like I'm going to try, man. Like, and like
kill them with kindness. In other words.
By the time that I went in, they were like supporting me, which was kind of nice.
Right.
Which is a pretty, I think that might be the only time that worked. I tried to keep it more on the lighthearted side because if I got too serious, I would just get angry and that wasn't going to help me. So I tried to treat it as like, as ridiculous as it is. It's just like, you're trying to like heckle a AA reliever. Like, what are you doing with your life, man?
Right.
But yeah, I think that as things have progressed, in time, and I think people get more and more normal every year. So that's helping. Mm-hmm. And obviously the massive proliferation of sports gambling and how normalized and easy it's become has made all of this way worse. And I think, Bobby, what you said at the beginning was people think that they have access to the players. My counterpoint to that is they do more than they ever have. Like they literally do have access to them. And they think that gives them the right to be like, hey, you ruined my parlay. I'm inside your walls. Mm-hmm. And, you know, right. Like, how much can I say on like, this is bad?
Right.
Funny you brought up Brent Rooker earlier. Like Rook is one of my favorites in that he will post people who are in his DM just like, oh, you couldn't get another hit. Like you fucked up my parlay. It's just like, buddy, I do not care.
Yeah.
Like, right. Why do you think I care?
Yeah. Let's backtrack a second, because I think that the proliferation of sports gambling is like an obvious accelerant to this that I think is almost so obvious and so charted in the last few years that it's like almost a different thing. And I wonder if we can go back in time a little bit to before sports gambling became so prevalent in so many states that MLB plays games and on so many apps and so easily accessible and in real time. Do you think that it was getting worse the way that fans were interacting with players, even aside from sports gambling, like before that even came into the picture?
I think that it's probably right. The level of accessibility that you have to players, because even going back a few years before it became as prolific, like I know I've had teammates who are, having unacceptable things said to them on social media and in messages sent to them. And like, right, that's going back to like accessibility through social media. But like, part of it is right, it's probably getting worse. Part of it is also like, we know about all of it, as opposed to like, I'm sure people were awful to athletes all throughout time, or as long as like Major League Baseball has been as popular as it is. Like, I don't know if people were being dicks to Arlie Latham in the 1890s, but like, I do think that it's pretty likely that like in the 70s and 80s, people were still being dicks to like athletes when they came across them in the street or like writing them letters. It just took more effort and you probably didn't hear about it as much. So maybe it happened less, but there was also a higher like effort cost to go through it, to be like, all right, I'm going to write Darryl Strawberry a strongly worded letter and I'm going to mail it. I'm going to post it to the Mets clubhouse. and maybe he'll read it and not just like rip it in half, throw it in the trash. Or if I'm lucky, like he'll roll part of that up and, use it for some marching powder. But so maybe you didn't do it as often.
Right.
Yeah.
But also like, right. Like they ruined Steve Bartman's life before social media existed. He wasn't even a player.
I mean, do you think that it's this weird, like, sort of double-edged sword? Because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, right? But the sense that I get is that the league would like players to sort of be out there a little bit, right? Like, even if it's not like become full-on influencers, it's like I would imagine there's a level of encouragement that you should interact with the fans to a certain extent, right? Like if you're on social media, I mean, don't be a dick to them, like whatever. But as you're saying, like that's really seeped into sort of every part of the game, and like whether it is seeing them on Instagram, whether it is like figuring out where they live or something like that. Like, I mean, do you think fans have too much access to players at this point, or is it more like not on the players to like set those guardrails up, like it's on the fans to just not have that seventh beer or something? I don't know.
Well, like many things, I think it depends. Right. Obviously, one of the big things is that I do think Major League Baseball has been very active in trying to get people to get players to show like their personalities and connect with their fan bases on social media. But I think there was like this brief fleeting period of like maybe like around when Twitter launched to maybe like 2016 or so, 2017, when people were really doing that before everything became like very produced or like the least offensive thing possible. Like the start of like the Mr. Beastification of every social media presence possible.
Us
right.
included.
Trying to present the plainest
We're produced
thing
by
possible.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah. He's seen my pitching motion. So I think we're cool. But like the like trying to be as non-offensive as possible, which leads to this very bland social media presence that's likely not run by the players. I assume many of them just don't care. And those who do, like if you're trying to censor yourself into almost nothingness, like you lose all motivation to like use whatever that platform is. And I think there's a few like stand-throughs, like Brent Rooker, obviously, Vinny Pasquantino, great personalities that shine through. But I think that it became clear that you can't rely on the best in people, because on the internet, the anonymity allows the worst in people to just be awful.
Yeah.
And that's what you're guarding against more than like the risk reward. It's just like too far tipped to really make it worth it for most players to really do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you think that there's something about baseball that makes this worse? I think that there is a huge problem in the NBA for a couple reasons with fan to player interactions for a couple reasons. Number one, you're a lot closer. So like if you have a courtside seat, a player might land in your lap. And so therefore the interaction, there's a higher stakes to it because it could become problematic very fast.
It's quite personal.
Yes, exactly. Like they will sweat on you, bro. Like I don't know why people want that, but they want that.
You should be honored.
That's number one. And number two, there's a serious racial component to it in the NBA, particularly in certain markets where the fan base is like aggressively white. And so I think that is why in the NBA this is such a present conversation. But I'm curious, what do you think, Tom, whether like there is some innate seedy underbelly in the game of baseball that allows for fans to treat players weirdly? Like, is it that there's just so much downtime, so you're thinking about evil shit that you can say to players? Is it like that this is our American game and so I should be able to say what I want, and there's this like innate masculinity behind that, or like what do you think it is, if there is something there at all?
I think there's Well, I guess if you break any sport down to its base component, it's a bit silly. But I think baseball, maybe most of all of them, is the right. It seems as though it should be easy, and there's a lot of sort of logical fallacy of the technical Latin name being post hoc ergo propter hoc, hindsight bias, more or less. Like this, actually, yeah. Sorry, my logic nerd days are behind me. But
you could have said
some of
anything
this
there,
will
and
be
I would
true.
have smiled and nodded. Yes, I think that is the technical term for it.
It's like you observed this happen, and therefore you could, like, the outcome, and then saying like, oh well, I would simply have not swung at that slider in the dirt, you fucking moron.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, you don't understand how difficult this is. So maybe my point that I'm coming back around to is the perceived difficulty versus the actual difficulty of the task at hand. Part of it being that like baseball is the everyman's game, that like you don't have to be built like Aaron Judge to be a good baseball player. You can be built like Jose Altuve. Whereas that's not the case in football or basketball. There are obvious requirements, like being tall or being fucking huge. Whereas baseball, to a point, you can see yourself out there being like, I'm taller than Jose Altuve. Like, I could probably play second base. How hard could it be? And we get into the worst tweet ever. I could luck into a home run, but
the worst tweet ever, because it's like so obviously true. Like any of us can luck into a home run.
Why would you say something so true and clearly obvious? So that's part of it. And then I think the other part of it that you did not touch on that I think is a big component is how random baseball is. It seems incredibly unfair the way that things work out sometimes. And as a player, that's very difficult to deal with, but you are at least part of it, as opposed to as a fan, you have no agency in what's occurring at all, but you're deeply, deeply invested in it. And that's true of all sports fandoms, but baseball is the most random sport. So even if, whoever, we're picking on Brent Rooker a lot. Let's pick on Brent Rooker more. He can take it.
Should have hit that ball 1 foot further, bro.
Yeah, or 1 inch, or 1/10 billionth of an inch, whatever it was.
That was so crazy that they did that.
Yeah, I think that's just how, like, sidebar, like, I get that that's ridiculous that they have it to that number, but also I've seen so many TrackMan and Hawkeye reports, like, that's just what the numbers look like. Yeah. And it's not like they were going down to that number for the difference. Like, the difference was 1/10 of a foot, which is a little over an inch, which I do believe it can measure accurately. Like, the rest of it is just like, there's numbers here. Like, it doesn't like, who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it just spits out a number to this ridiculous decimal place. And then in the Excel spreadsheet, you just highlight the column and you take it down to like 2 decimal places. And then who cares?
Yeah.
But, right. Someone's parlay included Brent going 2 for 5. And he's 1 for 3. And he drills 2 balls straight at somebody. And Brent, being an intelligent person, can separate the outcome from the process, which is he hit the balls hard. They just happen to be at people, which is out of his control. The guy who's gambling on this and who has, put, whatever he was going to spend on dinner tonight on this parlay to try to rope it into his, roll it into his rent for the month, is super excited. It's just that all of these things are out of his control. And because Brent Rooker did not execute in getting a hit, only the result that matters, and all of the other things are out of this guy's control. He's just mad because he didn't get the outcome he's looking for. And he takes that out by saying, Brent, you suck ass, you fucked up my parlay. And like, it's just because so much is out of your control as a fan initially. And then, right, like, that's why I think the emotional swings of sports fandom are so dramatic, but specifically baseball. But then you add on a financial component, in that most people are actually pretty bad at assessing odds, which is why the house always wins. So you add all of that together, and I think that makes a really, really perfect environment for baseball to be the worst possible sport to gamble on for the sake of the players.
You talked a little bit at the beginning about, kind of experiencing heckling in college. There's a little bit of an environment there, right? Where it's like, these are oftentimes students heckling other students at a different university. Maybe there's a little bit of common ground there where it's all in good fun or whatnot. But obviously, as of late, especially around, marquee events like March Madness, for example, again, that with sports betting, there's such an obvious added weight to this, to the extent that like Congress wants to, legislate away player props for college players and whatnot. I'm just kind of curious what you make about college students and, oftentimes teenagers being sort of the front line for all of this. And if you think that leagues are necessarily doing a good job of preparing young athletes for sort of what that side of things is like, especially if they do eventually want to go pro.
Yeah, I don't think this was as big of an issue when I was in college, so I am not familiar with what the prep is now. I know it was pretty minimal as far as I was aware when I was in college, but it could also be because St. John's didn't make the tournament the entire time I was there. I think
You hate to see it.
Yeah, I did notice
you needed your own Rick Pitino.
Yeah, watching I didn't really watch March Madness this year, but watching the Women's College World Series and the College World Series, I did notice a lot more ads saying, basically, if you like harass a player because you lost a bet, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
So I think that rocks.
That was a good campaign.
On the other hand, I do think that it unfortunately probably gives people the idea, if they weren't doing it before, it's being like, damn, it's a good point. I should harass these players. I didn't think about that. I don't think that ad is going to like stop people from doing it. I think it's better than doing nothing. I do think that it's probably like, I think we're maybe in too deep to pull back from that, because I think specifically March Madness is so ingrained as, gambling month, basically, that I don't know how you pull back from that. I think trying to restrict individual player props is probably a really good first step, because I think that college players are probably easily the most susceptible to the sort of Jonte Porter type manipulation, or whoever that guy was on the Guardians who just did it.
Oh, Luis Ortiz.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's just like, it can't be leading anywhere good. It's just too many opportunities for people to make bad decisions. And you can say that those are maybe on them, but like, they shouldn't be in these situations to begin with. Like, if you are like a fringy college basketball player, like, you're probably not going to play professionally, but you still want the opportunity to make money off of it. Just like, why wouldn't you? Like, what do you have to lose
I would.
in that case?
Absolutely. Oh my God. I just need to spike a pitch. That's it.
Yeah, right. It's just like, I need to like foul out of this game somehow. Yeah. Like, I don't even know what a prop bet on a fringe guy could be. Just like, why is this guy putting up so many shots? Just like, he's been in the game for 16 seconds.
So you've played at a lot of different levels in a lot of different places. You obviously played high school and college in New York, and then played at multiple different levels with the minors. You were in the Mexican League. Like,
was.
Did anyone ever say or offer you a training or like give you advice on how to handle fans and how they were interacting with you? Or was it just all like received wisdom from veteran players?
I think it was mostly received wisdom, and like, you kind of just figure it out kind of deal. I don't think I ever got any kind of like formal training in that. When I was in the Arizona Fall League, we did like media training, but that is not the same as dealing with fans. Obviously, we've definitely gotten social media training. That would be like a spring training seminar every year. And then the rest of it was just like, hey, don't sexually harass women.
That message not breaking through to many.
That's why we had to do so many. There were a lot of others also, but I don't know. I don't think that there ever was a fan one. Part of that could probably be because I never made it to the big leagues. Like, I imagine it's a much more, like, we would go through stuff about like if you had issues and like you needed like to talk to like MLB security if like someone was stalking you. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember if we ever did anything specifically on like, you know, you're being heckled, you know, because everything else, like people like sending you threatening messages would like default back to like you contact someone from MLB security.
Right. If you feel actually
if you're like legit. Yeah. If you're like legitimately concerned.
But it's so interesting because like we're talking about it now and it honestly sounds like it sounds a little bit anathema to the idea of being a professional athlete is to have someone sit you down and say what's going to happen is people are going to yell and scream at you, hoping that you suck at your job, hoping that you fail. But to me, thinking about it now and thinking about it in this current moment, like it is a question of like mental health preparedness. It is and it just like it sort of dictates like how well you perform, and so you would think that like maybe your team would care more about developing this kind of thing or this kind of program, and like but it seems crazy because the way that baseball still functions and the way that we talk about it in society and the way that many teams and people in power in the game still talk about it is like, well, you got to separate the wheat from the chaff. You know, if you're not cut out for it, then you're not cut out for it.
Earn your stripes.
Right? Yeah, like if I had a job, if my job, that there was a serious component of my job was like dealing with shit that people said to me in person while doing my job would train me about how to handle that situation. Right?
Yeah. Well, on the one hand, like people are much better now about awareness of like mental health stuff. Teams are much better about having actual services for that and people to provide them. Going back 5 years, it was a lot less widespread. Mm-hmm. And the quality was probably a lot lower where it was actually put into place. So things could be different now. You do have to remember that I have not been in affiliated baseball in 3 years and 3 or 4 years. So it's quite possible that things have changed since then. And obviously things will differ organization to organization, but there is definitely a component of like the, like if you can, you're going to have to deal with it. So you're just going to deal with it sort of thing in some of the older attitude.
I want to pivot slightly just because it's a relative rarity these days that we talk to someone who's played any form of professional baseball, at least on this here pod. And so I got to ask, because it's a topic of conversation, I think, among a lot of fans, right? In the All-Star game played, well, last night when we're recording this, although I know this isn't going to come out for a few days. We love a good mic'd up broadcast. Mics in the field.
Do we?
I use.
Are we sure?
Right, speaking on behalf of our partners over at ESPN. But like, you have Pete Crow Armstrong saying like, oh shit, like I couldn't hear him calling for the ball because I got that little headpiece in. I think Clayton Kershaw was like on the mound and he's like, I gotta say, this is really weird, like talking to you guys. I mean, like as someone who's like been out there on the field, does that feel like sort of overstepping a boundary a little bit? Would it be like weird for you to be out there trying to like lock in and have someone in your ear being like, okay, what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, I think it would depend on a lot of things, obviously. I think you have to have a certain kind of guy. I think it's got to be way, way harder for a fielder. I think as a pitcher, part of it is because I've just been a pitcher for so long. I can see how I might be able to do that personally. I think trying to think back to when I played the infield, like if I'm like trying to like be ready and react to stuff, I think it would be much harder to like have a conversation with someone while I'm doing that, as opposed to like pitching. I am in control of when things are occurring. I can listen to a question, think about it, respond like as I go through different parts of my pre-pitch routine. I think that's doable, but also, right, like Clayton Kershaw was an interesting choice. Did lead to the really funny, right, Smoltz said throw a cutter. He goes, I don't throw a cutter. It's good stuff. But like, I think it was Liam Hendricks a couple of years ago that did it mic'd up. That
he just was not talking to them though. He was just like he was just doing his normal
and going
thing.
through his own stuff. It rocked,
which is cool. I like that's arguably more interesting to me than actually trying to have them have a dialogue.
Yeah, I think like trying to, right, it's the same thing as anything else. Just like, yeah, I'm going to go up to this accountant while he's performing an audit, and I'm going to have, I'm going to have a conversation with him about, what he's doing, what's going through his head. How do you tell if these receipts are phony? I think that
accountant shit.
Yeah, I think that's what accountants do.
We're still not sure over here.
We have an accountant, and yet like we don't really know what he does.
It's usually a good sign.
He's real, though. I think we last year we came together and we were like, we're at least 91% sure he's real.
That's a pretty good confidence interval, I'd say.
That's like a AAA bond by the U.S. Department of Treasury standards.
But I think, right, it's like in any situation that is going to be difficult for someone to do, especially doing a task that is as physically demanding as playing baseball can be. Yeah. And also like is way less interesting than just like being able to hear the actual interactions between people. In my personal opinion. But I also think it's just like, it's a little weird. I get what they're trying to do, but it's an exhibition game. Who cares?
Yeah. I think what they're trying to do is, do you remember a couple of years ago, I think this was during spring training, when Freddie Freeman was mic'd up and he was on first base and someone hit a double to the outfield and he scored from first and he was like talking to them while rounding each base.
He's like, all right, watch this, boys. Like, I'm going to score on this one.
Exactly. And that was so right smack in the middle of what they were hoping for, which was Freddie Freeman, who is like, your everyday lunch pail, hardworking, contact first baseball guy. And he's running around the bases and he's not that fast and he's not that flashy. He's just all hustle and all heart. And he's talking you through it in real time. And I think that's what they think every single one of these interviews is going to be like. And more often, it's just like they wait 3 seconds to answer the question that you just asked. So there's a lot of dead air because they're going through their normal mental processes about getting down into their stance to field a ground ball. Like even some of the most charismatic players, like Francisco Lindor, are not interesting in those contexts, I find.
Yeah, I imagine it's just a very rare sort of person that is capable of doing that authentically. And it might be different, right? If you get Freddie Freeman while he's playing first base, right? While he's on the base path might be the least actual worry he has because, right, he's not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
He just has to react to when the ball is hit. And, he gets that moment where it's like, double, he's on first, like, I'm going to score here.
Yeah.
Like it's just not an easy thing to do, especially when you should be focused on something else.
I think they should mic the bullpen, bro.
They should.
I mean, that would be a privacy violation and you wouldn't get the actual authentic bullpen chatter. But that would be the most interesting addition to I would pay more for MLB TV if there was a bullpen mic.
Yeah, they can't ever actually do that. But that is one of our like magnum opus ideas for the staff cast was the bullpen simulator, where we just took 8 people and put them all together in a Zoom room. And I started with one hypothetical that someone might have asked in a bullpen once. And we just went from there.
That's a great idea.
I loved that you guys also like filtered people out as if they were called into the game. Like you don't get to be here anymore to have this conversation. You're
like,
you're pitching.
Tony DeComo, you're pitching right now. Get your ass in the game.
Get up and get hot, kid.
I forget whether it was me or Rich who had that idea, but once we had that, we were like, oh, this is actually
that unlocks
good.
the whole thing. Yeah, that unlocks the whole thing. Yeah. Especially because people stuck around, right? Like fucking Roth was there till the end.
Roth was like second or third out. Jerry Blevins stayed till the end.
Oh, Blevins stayed till the end. Yeah.
We wanted as a bit to have somebody go in really early because the starter was getting his ass kicked. And we were like, Jerry, you're a literal major leaguer. You can leave whenever. And as we were like bullshitting in the pre-show, he was just like, I think I'm going to stick around. And so it ended up with him at the end with us. It was supposed to be just me and Rich.
That's so funny. Jerry's a funny guy.
Dude's just down to hang.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. A great Tipping Pitches guest over the years. Do you think that fans are ever going to be normal to players ever again, or is it just going to get worse?
No, like, you can't put Pandora back in the box. I know that's not really what Pandora's box means, but I forgot whatever expression I was trying to say.
Right.
Genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, cat back in the bag, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just stuck with this until like laws about sports gambling change. That's not happening. So it seems, and I assume that people are not getting more normal anytime soon. Everyone seems to be consistently getting weirder, even in like non-gambling interactions with players. Like, even like people bringing like non-binary flags to the field, very weird in my opinion. Right? It was a pretty funny joke. Then it got repeated 8,000 times and it was no longer funny. And then someone tagged him in a picture of it in like an Instagram story, and that was like, okay, this is crossing a line. And then people were bringing the flags to the field, and I was like, all right, you've gotten really weird about it.
Yeah. Rarely does an
all
online joke ever translate into real life like that.
Yeah, and all of this happened in a span of like 3 weeks. So like even on that, and like that is just the first thing that came to mind. Like there's been so many things this year where I was just like, people are being very weird about Rafael Devers, or people are being really weird about Brett Beatty, like whoever it might be.
Me included.
He's
the savior of the Mets, Tom. He's going to save the whole franchise. I don't know what to tell you.
No comment. The parasocial levels of relationships that people are at. I am maybe a bit too online, so maybe I see more of this. Like maybe the average person is like just fine. Right? It's the meme that like people on Mets Twitter be like Juan Binary and lesbian icon Brett Beatty are going to save the season. It's like normal Mets fan, like, hey man, how's it going?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe I just see too much of it, but people are being really weird and going way overboard with like assuming what they know about players and like what they know about them as people, and so on and so forth down the line, to like, and like extrapolating this out into like these very weird broad claims. And also, again, I just think everyone's very weird about everything. So in conclusion, everything is going to continue to get worse. Eat Arby's.
Well said. This is where we would run our ad that says, just be normal. Stop being weird to players.
Should we start creating ads like that? Like, we don't sell ads for this show. Nor have we ever, nor could we.
So speaking of the bullpen simulator, my magnum opus in it was the fake ads as a concept.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to have breaks when the guys go into the game.
Right.
Like, we should just make fake advertisements, because we're one of my favorite podcasts, which is a very weird niche one called Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's.
Nice.
Just includes the guy doing a fake ad read at the end of every episode. My favorite of which being he did one for like a Toyota Corolla but in it, he was just like, if you're going to drive off a cliff, it might as well be in a Toyota Corolla. And then he followed up the entire next episode, had nothing to do with the show is actually about him trying to figure out what happened to McDonald's pizza, which briefly existed in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
The whole
I
next
wish I was alive in
episode
the 80s so bad.
is the whole next episode is a bit where he is just sitting waiting for the FCC to come arrest him.
Yeah, no, like they'll actually get your shit for that.
Because he was just like, I accidentally implied that a Toyota Corolla would be a better car to drive off a cliff in than any other, which is not allowed in my which is a great bit to do about your fake advertising.
Yes, it is.
Rocks.
That's awesome.
It's like
But yeah, you should run more fake advertisements. I would encourage everyone to do so.
We'll consider that. We'll consider doing that. Hack, before you go, do you want to share any?
This is still part of the show. I'm so sorry. I just talked about whatever happened to pizza at McDonald's. Go listen to it. It's a good show.
Oh my God, this is still part of the show. That's Tipping Pitch's promise. I was gonna say, having played at all those different levels, was anyone ever particularly nice to you? Were any crowds particularly nice? And or what's like the craziest thing anyone ever said to you that still stands out?
Craziest that ever stands out. Right. If it's not coming to mind right now, it's probably not. I was backing up games in spring training in like 2018. It's when they call over random minor leaguers to just in case they need you in big league spring training games. And I came in against the Orioles. I'm wearing a jersey that doesn't have my name on the back, unlike everyone else's. Wearing a very high number. And I had played it was going into my second full season. So my first year I'd played, first full year I was in low A and high A. And this guy is screaming at me, this avid Baltimore Orioles fan at a spring training game, is screaming, 95, you don't even have a name on your jersey. You're going to AAA. And I'm taking the ball from Paul Molitor and just like kind of chuckling. And I was like, it'd be awesome.
I'm going to AAA.
Dude, if I was in AAA this year, that'd be awesome. So that's probably the best one that stands out. That wasn't just like, you fucking suck. Hecklers are not super creative when they don't really know you. A lot of the ones that I've got were just like, you throw weird. Like, have you tried throwing it right? Which is super original. I think you should say that to every sidearmer you see.
What's like a player approved Raz? Like, what's a good one that will get like a little hat tip, like a little respect? Like, if you were out there and you heard someone say X, you'd be like, wow, okay, nice work, brother.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It would have to either be something that's actually really funny,
which is so hard.
Yeah,
that's a high wire act.
You could always hit him with it'd be a classic if you hit him with like a hey, your shoe's untied. Or you have to say something that like would let them know that you actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But nothing comes to mind, so odds are it's probably not really possible.
Yeah.
If I can't think of it, nobody can.
Hey, the dinner you posted about last night looked really delicious.
That would be funny and kind of stalkerish.
That kind of would.
That was a very classic one, actually. In college, was guys would just like look through your Facebook profile, and just like yell shit about your family and or girlfriend.
Yeah, they used to do that at our high school.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a little weird.
It's a lot weird.
It worked on some people. I didn't have that much actual information, so they were yelling at me about like my cousin. It's like, oh, who's Barbara? It's like, she's my cousin, man. Being really fucking weird right now.
So what you're saying is, look, if you're gonna Raz, get more creative. Start doing better bits out there.
Yeah, right. Like, treat it like it's your 5 minute, your tight five.
Right.
Like,
get in, get out.
Get some good stuff in there. Get some yes ands. Right. You're doing the opposite of crowd work, I guess.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I think we should start learning some Abbott and Costello bits, and we should start rolling those out.
As long as it's not who's on first.
Yeah.
I feel like it's too much to do that at a baseball field.
It's a little on the nose.
But I will say, on the other hand, like, one of the benefits of like being a weird kind of poster is I have made, like, I have some internet friends in my computer that I have made because, like, they are people who like thought it was cool that I played baseball and that I was actively posting stuff, and maybe even thought I was funny. So like, there is an upside to it. It's just that also, like, there's a video of my pitching motion that gets reposted every month, and everyone who sees it just comments, "This guy should kill himself before he needs Tommy John surgery." And, I get to see that once a month for the rest of eternity, because that video will be posted directly into people's Neuralink feeds after I'm long fucking dead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I feel like we've learned a lot of valuable lessons today. Alex,
I
you
hope
got any
so.
other hard-hitting journalistic questions to hit Hack with before we go?
No. What's next on the YouTube channel? What you got? Anything you got anything you're cooking up?
Yeah, what's the content calendar looking like, brother?
I wanted to do a video on, I had two thoughts. One was a video on Tom Wilhelmsen, who quit baseball for 5 years and then came back and made the majors. After he had quit, he was in like low A. Left, came back, made the majors, was a pretty good reliever for Seattle for a few years. I think that's an interesting story. I just don't know the actual angle to take it from. And then the other one is, I think that Dave Kingman would have made a lot of money if he played in the modern day. Because like, he hit like 45 homers, struck out 200 times a year, and he hit 220.
We love that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Modern day, if you do that, you get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. Those are my two ideas that I'm working on. But also I'm moving, so I don't really have a lot of time to actually do this. And also working a normal job, I've learned, gives you a lot less time to do stupid bullshit compared to the last time I tried to make YouTube videos when I was doing nothing for 14 hours a day that I was awake.
Oh, yeah, many such cases.
Yeah.
My life has become calendared like down to the minute now. And I just, every time I think about that, or every time I look at my calendar, just feel like a little piece of my soul just like seep out, just a little piece of my soul. Then I'm just like, oh, I'm that person.
Oh, there's my life, just in little boxes. Sick.
Oh, but they're nice and color coordinated.
What is life but a sequence of little boxes until you get to the big one?
That's right.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
thank you for joining us, listeners. Go listen to Staffcast. And anything else that you want to plug? You want to plug the YouTube?
Yeah, sure. I make YouTube videos sometimes. What is my channel actually called? Baseball Things of That Nature. Because I hate attaching my names to things when it's not like me. If that makes sense. It's like, I'm talking about baseball. The name should be about baseball. Who's Tom Hackimer? Who fucking cares?
That's going to be the title of the episode. Who's Tom Hackimer? Who fucking cares?
God, that'd be a good title. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Listen to the podcast that I co-host most of the time, Staffcast. If you also like weird rambling nonsense, where I talk about killing myself a lot, or just death as a concept. Yeah, that's about it. Eat Arby's.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so sorry.
Thanks to Tom. Thanks to Stu for his great tenureship. Sorry, his great stewardship. Stewardship.
This guy.
As the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Thank you.
Do you think they should take? Do you think they should lose the Bay? Just the Tampa Rays?
No, I think they need to start adding words back in.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Blue Devil Rays.
Okay. Yeah. Partnership with Duke. Great. That's a good idea.
Greater Tampa Bay area.
That's
Rays.
good. Yeah. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Tampa Bay Rays of St. Petersburg.
Thanks everybody for listening. We have a Patreon episode coming out in 2 days of 3 Up, 3 Down. And then we'll be back here on the main feed in 1 week's time. We'll see you then.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping pitches.
Tipping pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!